sub. That's the wand I have on my ED Trickster, and probably one of the most common questions in the last week or so have been, how did you craft your wand, and why are you using a driftwood wand? So I guess it's time for me to make a video on how I crafted this, and well, how you should go about crafting a similar wand if you wanted to. The method that was used to craft this and the recommendations I'm going to give you in a second is very solo self-found viable, but you can also use it to craft for profit because a lot of people don't know how to do that, and even after this video a lot of people still won't know how to do it. So yeah, and this video is also going to be a small guide on how to use a new website called Path of Exile. That is a very good, I'd say even like it's a miracle to crafters in the Path of Exile. Links obviously in the on the description and pin on the comment. And there's a good like how to use and frequently asked questions here that you should read, but I'm just basically quickly gonna use it on showcasing on this specific craft. And yeah, while the video is primarily going over how to craft a chaos spells wand like I'm using, you can use this to craft ignite / like fire damage over time wands or weapons. Same for cold dot, and you can also use it for, well, hit base too, because you can also do a +1 levels and like high flat damage to spells, for example. And yeah, before I go further, this particular wand was crafted with a deafening essence of woe on an item level 3 driftwood wand, and after hitting the correct prefixes, I scoured off the suffixes with prefix cannot be changed, and I multi-modded, and then I finished it off by crafting the aspect of the grab. But that's not how you should go about it, and this wasn't actually crafted by me, and ideally the item level for this specific craft should be item level 2, because item level 3 adds a modifier to the pool that makes it harder to get this. But this was done by a friend in the league who just happened to land on the perfect mods for my build. He was trying to do it for a cold dot. But if I were to go about crafting a similar one for myself, I would use either item level 4 or item level 12 one instead. And instead of using essences, I would be using either just Aberrant Fossil or Aberrant Frigid and Scorched. Now that we get that out of the way, let's start by figuring out what do we want in our weapon. So I'm using a damage over time dealing spell that is a chaos spell. So naturally, +1 all chaos spell skill gems is very good for me. I don't need any kind of flat damage. I don't need crit chance. I don't need crit multi. While there are some useful influence modifiers, it's not really required. So all I really need is spell damage, chaos dot multi, and the plus skill levels. And as you can see, I'm using all of the 7 skill slots that I have here. I could use the second skill slot as well, but this is already quite a few to manage. So I wanted a trigger socket spell when you use a skill. So this allows me to automize 3 skills. So there's the Cold Snap, there's the Despair Curse, and there's the Tempest Shield. And I don't have to, well, I can't even manually cast them anymore because they are in the wand. So the main reason for this was to get the trigger socket spell. That's the number 1 reason, and everything else is just like secondary. And okay, so now that we know what I need from my wand. Now I have to figure out what's the best way to get them. And for that, we're gonna go to PoEDB. Again, links in the comments. The main website looks like just this. And then you go to mods. And then we're looking at wands. And here. And now since we know the mods we wanted, so we just look at here. Okay, so we wanted the plus chaos spell gems. That is an item level 2. And the biggest mistake I see a lot of people do when they're trying to get like the simple kind of ones that I'm using right now is crafting 2 high item level ones. So how mod rolling works in Path of Exile is instead of the game rolling for a type of mod, such as increased physical damage, it rolls for individual mods. So instead of just first rolling that you roll physical damage and then it rolls a random mod from the different rolls within the bracket or like within the damage type, each of these have their own roll, as you can see in the weightings. The lower the weighting, the harder it is to get. So the higher item level the item you are crafting, the more mods you have in the pool that can roll. So that's also why it's extremely hard, on top of the weightings being very low, to get like T1 mods. So we start off by being interested in this, and that is item level 2. So in here we can actually put an item level 2, and you can see like how many mods just get deleted. All of the influence mods get deleted, but there's a lot of other modifiers that get deleted as well. So we just like over tenfold, like it's like probably like 100 times easier to craft it now. So now this is specifically for my wand that I have right now. You would want an item level 2 because that's the lowest level for the plus levels, and that's literally the only other mod we care about, because the essence have prepared some stuff here. So the essence that we use to craft guarantees the other mod on the wand. So a defending essence of woe gives you 83 to 94% spell damage. Screaming would be 50 to 60, 50 to 66, and then defending is 67 to 82.
While we live, we are blessed.
So we already guarantee the spell damage mod from this. So we only care about the plus level of skills. So that's why the item level 2 is good. If we went for item level 3, we actually introduce a flat damage to lightning attacks, which then dilutes the pool and makes it harder to roll. So yeah, simply you would get an item level 2 wand, which you can do by just going to coast, killing some mobs, and picking a driftwood wand. It's that simple. When you make a new character and you kill Hillock, your character level to 2, and then Nessa would actually sell item level 3 wands, which introduce the lightning mod, so you don't want to do that.
Take care.
So you just go to coast to find it. But that's not the recommendation. The recommendation that I'm gonna give is either level 4, because that's when we introduce damage over time multiplier modifiers, and this goes up to 18%. The crafted value, the tier 3 crafted value that you can bench craft, goes to 20%. I don't have it sadly on. I guess I can actually show it on here. So that goes to 20%. So it's only 2% less. But the big thing here is that since it's a chaos modifier, it allows us to There we go. So it allows us to use aberrant fossil instead. So if we go back here, and then we can select from here. We're gonna go back to the Path of Exile soon, but here it shows the plus one here, so that just means that it's a higher chance. Same goes for the Chaos Spell Gems. So this like increases your chances of getting, and these are like the two mods that you care about the most. Also, the Aberrant also removes all lightning modifiers, so we don't have lightning resist here anymore, and we also don't have the lightning damage to attacks anymore. Or to spells, of course, either, which is item level 1. So that's very nice. The reason why I would probably recommend item level 12 is because that opens up the tier, the second tier that goes up to 23%, and after we go in a second to Path of Exile, you'll see that the difference between the chances of hitting either this or this with the +1 is not that big of a difference. And it also allows us to get a new base 1 type. So the biggest issue for this kind of crafting is, and goes back to the question about people asking about that, why am I using a goddamn driftwood wand, is naturally obtaining high bases isn't possible because there's a level requirements for the ones to start dropping. And so item level 12 would be Carve Wand, and that is also slightly faster than the Driftwood Wand. So if you're using shield charge, it's slightly faster. And it also has, I should probably zoom out a bit so you can see better. It gives us another spell damage roll. Well, like the implicit is higher, so that gets extra 3%. Now, there is a way to obtain even better implicit, but that regards divination cards, which I have a bunch of here, and some corrupting. And that is simply, I guess I should first explain how divination cards work. So when you return a divination card, the item level is based on your character level, capped at 80. So if I were to return this divination card with my level 97 character, it would be item level 80. But we can return this with a lower level character. So let's go with the level 2 guy here. I prepare for this. So now, if I return this divination card here, we get an item level 2 obliteration. And it's a demon horn base that goes up to 35%. Now, we can't really do anything with this yet, because it's unique, we can't craft it. However, if we corrupt it, and it turns into rare, we can then use a recipe, which is 5 rares of the same type, and it gives you a unID'd, uncorrupted one back. So if this turned into rare, and we're gonna try, we're gonna return all of these, and try to corrupt it, and hopefully we land a rare, and then we do the recipe, and we'll get it back. So, but I will do that with a level 4 character. So all you need is 1 rare corrupted like demon horn base, like obliteration boys, and then the item level from the 5 to 1 recipe is always based on the lowest item level. So even though these are like 69, the result of the 1 recipe would be item level 2. And we could then craft it. And now I'm gonna quickly return all of these with a level 4 character, because that's what I'm gonna use for the showcase of crafting. I should probably do this with a level 12, because that's what I would actually recommend. But I'm gonna increase my chances, even though it's a very tiny increase. I have a limited amount of crafting mats, So I'm taking all my chances on actually finishing a craft in this video. So we have a bunch of level 4 ones here. See if we can have get a rare. So there we go. Don't even need to return the rest right now. So this is how you get your base. And there you go. Item level 4 Demon Horn. And now you can simply ID it. Where's my currency tabs? There. You simply ID and then you scour it. I don't happen to have it scoured right now. Oh wait, no, there's scours here. And we scour it. And boop, there's our base. We will craft this soon. But before I craft it further, I'm gonna showcase something that you shouldn't do, or like shouldn't spend, and that is the Trader DB card that gives you corrupted wand, unique wand. Now, the important point here is that it gives you a unique wand that is corrupted. It doesn't give you a unique wand that gets corrupted and has a chance to be rare. This will always, without failure, give you a unique with a corruption, like a corruption. So you cannot use the Trader Div card to do this. Same way, there is a divination card for a prophecy wand, which is almost, it's like almost the best base. Prophecy wand goes up to 40%. The best base is an opal wand with 43%, and there is a unique for that, Apex Rage, and there is a way to get this, and a low item level Apex Rage. Gonna go about that in a second, but generally that's not something I would ever recommend trying. But yeah, so while we're level 4 on this character, but this divination card says that it gives an item level 100, so that will override the character level. So you have to return it with a character. You need to return a divination card that doesn't specify a character level. Now, some other ways you can get it. Weapon of crafting can give you any weapon with the of crafting suffix, and you can use the same method here as with the obliteration. Obviously, you don't need to ever corrupt it because it just gives you a base. We can actually just return all of these and see if we get lucky. We probably won't, but you never know. So we didn't get it. Didn't get anything, but this could give you a base as well. This doesn't give you a higher base type though, as you can see, all of these are low bases.
See you soon.
So I wouldn't recommend this, but this is a way you could get one if you want to go meme about it, and it even has the crafted modifiers on it. So if you were to get, this is a 2 exalt craft, so if you were to get a drifted wand, and then you were to augment, it has to be a prefix because it already has a suffix, so you get the +1 chaos spells. That's a decent wand to go with. It's not good, but that just saved you 2 exalts, actually 4 exalts, as I'm about to explain the crafting method a bit further. So that's a meme way to do, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend. We have checking the box that gives you any unique.
Hello.
Okay. As you can see, it gave me a level 67 sword. So this is a way that could give you any of the unique ones, any of the unique ones that is in the drop specific. So you could get an Apex Rage this way, and then you could try corrupting into a rare, and then do the 5-1 recipe. And another way is if you don't have access to the obliteration divination cards, there's a hermit for the lifesbrick div card that just gives you lifesbrick. And you might have noticed ancient orbs in my stash. You can ancient orb that low item level wand into higher levels. So we could continue doing this for Apex. I do not recommend, but it is possible. So that's a way you could get a slightly better base as well. But honestly, the most cost-effective way to get a better base than like a Driftwood wand or a card wand is to simply return Dark Temptation. They are very cheap, they are very easy to get, they are very common drop from other div cards, the Gambler and Stack Deck, and they also drop in Delve as well from like the chests. But yeah, we got our base, and before I start actually crafting it further from here, I'm gonna show you a bit of numbers here. A bit of numbers. So before I go there, so we have the Path of Exile, and we can search for a base item. It doesn't really matter what one we do, so just Driftwood one doesn't matter. There is crafting methods. I'm gonna showcase you first with the essence. There's an item level here, where you can choose your item level. We're doing the essence, so I'm gonna use an level 2. I can show you level 4 and 12 as well quickly, but yep. And then we have, as you can see, it has ruled out modifiers because the item level is too low, so we simply can't get those. And here we can search for an affix, but you can just scroll here. We wanted chaos spells. You click it, it has this little star there, and now it's listed here. And from here we find the woe there. So in order to get both the guaranteed mod from the woe and then the level of chaos spell skill gems, on average it takes 32 tries, and there's like an estimate price. I'm not sure if this is from deafening essences, or I assume it's deafening essence that's called it. But you can also change the league here by going into advanced options. You can change your league. It pulls the data from POE Ninja, so the prices are pretty accurate, the price estimates. So you could do that, but we don't really care about it right now. And then, now that we have the idea of how many tries it will take, this isn't enough, because for the one that I'm using, you also need an open prefix, so we can craft the chaos.multi. Obviously we need the open suffix as well. So what you can do is you can run a fixed simulation here. It's 100 tries. And now don't look at these numbers. These are not the numbers that we care about. We care about the affix distribution on success. So when we land both of these modifiers, so on average every 32 times, like once every 32 attempts. So we click there, it opens up, and so here's like how many times there's the 4 mod, 61%, so that's very good. That's the ideal craft, like the continued craft is in 4 mod. There's a 5 mod, there's 6 mod, and you can see 6 mod is much more rare. And then here's the 3/2, 3/1, 2, 2, 1, 3, etc. This is prefix plus suffix, so 3 prefixes, 2 suffixes, 3 prefixes, 1 suffix, 2 prefixes, 2 suffixes, and so on and so on. And on this simulation, 18% of the time of this attempt, we landed the perfect 2 prefixes and then 2 random suffixes. You can also see some random item showcases here. So this right here is a failure because we hit as in its current state, it's a failure because we hit a prefix and we would want that to be like out. what you can do is you can annul it. You have 1 in 25% chance to hit it, and then you also have 50% chance to completely break it because you would lose these. So this could be like a starting point before multimodding. It's an open suffix, it has two good modifiers. Just slam in the either whatever suffix you might want, but in my case, this would probably like very good starting one for me in Soul Self-Found, where I would just use the craft, the summon, trigger socket spells. I would be done with it. Right, here we have a prefix, suffix. So this is 3 and 3, so we would need to annul this again. And the issue with the 3 prefixes is that you need to remove the correct prefix. If you hit 2 prefixes and 3 suffixes, that's much better chance because you need to only remove one of the random suffixes. And in these examples, all of these are bad. Here we also have 3 prefixes and 2 suffixes. We have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes as well. But yeah, so ideal case is the 2 prefix, 2 suffix, which is when then we just simply go into a crafting bench. We go prefixes cannot be changed, which is a craft that you can obtain from one of the prophecies. I don't remember exactly what it is. If you don't have this craft yet, you can just look at undiscovered, and then when you look it literally tells you. So the block rank 1 block and dodge is from dig map. Rank 3 criticals is Temple of Atsolab, Workshop, Engineering, the Party of blah blah blah. So I don't remember if it's like I think I have all of the crafts already from those. But yeah, so we would do prefixes cannot be changed. It's a suffix that goes 2 exalts. And then after you do that, you scour it. And it removes the suffixes. And because you have 2 prefixes remaining on the item, it has to stay rare. In Path of Exile, if an item has 2 modifiers of the same, like either 2 suffixes or 2 prefixes, it has to be rare. If it was 1 prefix and 1 suffix after the removal, it would go back to being a blue item, unless you annul them. But through the craft, it will turn it into blue. But because we have the 2 prefixes, it will stay rare, and then we can do multimod, or can have up to 3 crafted modifiers. We slam that in, and then we do the trigger socketed spells and the dot multi, and that one will be done. And now we also have 1 open suffix, and that's where I personally use the aspect of the grab. But yeah, going back to here, if you were to hit the 2 prefix and 3 suffixes, which is what, 4.4% of the time, so it's 1 in 5 to land one of the options that are good. And then this one you would annul and hope that you hit the 3 out of 5 chance to remove one of the suffixes, and then you're at the same spot as here. But that's a lot of essences, especially if you're using essences of woe, deafening essences. And now if we go to item level 4, the chances go up, and if we go further to 12, which is the recommendation, that's 1 in 66. Now, if we go back and we change the crafting method to fossils, and now since it's item level 4, we go here and we grab chaos damage over time multiplier. We click that. We can't take these because the item level is too high. Here you can see the item level 12, which you're gonna get soon. And now we click aberrant. On average, oh, this is just let me get that. There we go. So to hit both chaos dot multi, the first tier, and then the +1, there's an average of 7 tries. And if we go to the distribution, like run simulation again, and then we look at the distribution, the affix distribution of success, we have 30%, for that. This will change when you run another because it simulates. And again, here actually we have almost great. Sadly, the spell damage is a prefix, so you'd have to try and annul that. But again, this would be a decent starting. Obviously, if you are not going for multi-mod, using the essence on item level 2 gives you a much better wand early on. Like usually, like 60% spell damage is quite better than that in most cases, especially now with Cluster Jewels giving so much chaos dot multi. Yeah. Now, if we go a bit further, we can put Scorched and Frigid there, and we go from 7 tries to 5 because I want to show it from here because it's better. So Aberrant removes the lightning mods. Frigid gives more cold modifiers and no fire modifiers. But then when you combine it with Scorched, which is more fire modifiers and no cold modifiers, negatives are stronger than positives. So you cannot roll any cold or fire mods at all. This means all of the resist mods are now gone. When we look at the damage over time multiplier mods, they are also all gone. The fire and cold dot multis are gone entirely. That's pretty nice, right? So that's why the chance went up. And now, if we increase the item level to 12, it's still only 7 attempts on average. And now the interesting thing here, so if you look at the average price, obviously this depends on the prices of resonators, the 1-socket resonators and 3-socket resonators, and then Scorch and Frigid fossils, of course. But the fossils are absolutely dirt cheap right now, and so are 3-socket resonators, at least in Delirium softcore. So that's why the average cost is actually less with the 3 fossil setup. It's not a big difference, but it also on average takes you much less attempts. And now we got this covered. Let's actually go in game and see if we can craft this. I think I also have a level 2 wand. We can try crafting the essence a bit first. And also, yeah, before going further, actually crafting it, you can use stuff like flat damage to spells essences as well. This is much higher. Like this leaves you the extra open slot, and then you could, if you hit the 2 prefixes, the +1 and then the cold damage, for example, like the cold damage from spells and the +1 cold, instead of going for the chaos, and you'd hit the cold damage like plus cold or plus fire or whatever instead, you could then multi-mod like crit multi and crit chance or something like that. So yeah, this is not limited to only WoW essences. You can do this on the other as well. But yeah, that's actually too low level. Let me go quickly catch a level 2 wand for us. There we go. Got the item level 2 wand. Got stash it quick. Actually, I don't even stash. We can just craft this character. It doesn't even matter. So we have the item level 2 wand. And now we simply toss in some essences. Didn't land the +1. That's a reroll. Didn't hit it. Again. Didn't hit it. Again. Again, didn't hit it. And look at that. Now, this is 3 prefix and 3 suffix. So this isn't ideal. And the only thing we can do now is we can annul. And now we pray, basically. Okay. We removed a suffix, which is good, because now we could do prefix cannot be changed and scour. And this would actually, if I were in Soul Sulfon, I might even just start with this. You would do prefixes cannot be changed, craft the modifier, the up to 3 modifiers. Then we do trigger, which I don't have sadly. Trigger so I get a spell when you use a skill. And then I would have another open suffix, which isn't exactly ideal for the build that I was playing, but I could do something like, I think this goes up to 18% cast speed, I don't remember exactly. No, it might be 200 weapons, but we can craft like 60% damage, or we could craft an actual good resist, like up to 40% resist from the double resistment. So for losing a bit of damage, you could have a resist or something like that. But we're not going to do them now. We're going to undo it again. And look at that. We removed another suffix. Now, in this case, there is another option instead of annulling. In case annuls, for some reason, at the time of you watching this video, are like stupid expensive, you could do a beastcraft, which I'm not going to do now. I don't even have it right now. But the beastcraft is add a suffix, remove a random prefix. So what that would only basically do is make sure that it's one of the 3 prefixes that gets removed. It adding a suffix doesn't matter because we can just cover off the suffixes with the metacrafting. Obviously, probably in every single league, these are going to be more expensive than annuls. But you never know. Maybe we get another synthesis league. We'll see. So we just do that again. And look at that. We got lucky. Can't actually believe it. I hit it. We got the bad prefix out. We do prefixes cannot be changed, which is 2 exalts. We slam bam it in there. Now we have a 1 here. We scour it. And look at that. That's the exact base as I have in my my trickster. And then we do can have up to 3 crafted modifiers. I don't have the chaos damage or the multiplier sadly, but you would craft the rank 3 here, which is another prefix, and then you would do the trigger socketed spells. And then we have 1 extra suffix left, which you cannot use a normal craft at all because the can have up to 3 crafted modifiers is a mod itself, and then we added the 2 mods. So the only way to do anything past that is to exalt it, but because the item level is so low, you won't get anything good on it most likely. You could get like a low level resist or something like that, and that's why I opted myself to craft aspect of the crab. And so basically you just go to the beast altar, you slam this in there, and then you pick the aspect of the crab. If you have the beast for it, you kill the beast, and bam bam, you have the exact copy of my weapon right now. But again, this is not what we wanted to craft, and I wouldn't recommend that if you are trying to do at least if you're trying to do gold dot or chaos dot weapon. I think we got pretty lucky with that. So let's try crafting the other way around. Oh, wrong place. So we go to the guy that has the demon horn, because for some reason I didn't stash it. And now we're gonna do some essence crafting. Not essence. We're gonna do fossil crafting. So I'm gonna slam a couple one mod operants first. See if we get it. Okay, so we hit the chaos damage over the multiplier, and we this is the lower tier roll. Oh yeah, I didn't actually explain that properly about that. So in here, when you start increasing the item level, you need to make sure that like here right now I have taken the second mod, and my chances, this is because this is specifically for this mod only. It's a 1 in 16, but when you click the one in above, it includes both of the mods, and that's why the low roll is actually lower here. So this includes either the first roll, like first tier, or the second tier. Okay. Didn't land it. Didn't land it. Oh, look at that. 2 prefix, 2 suffix. We hit the first tier chaos.multi. Now we could do the exact same thing as we did previously, but instead of crafting the chaos.multi, we have 2 other options. We can do normal spell damage, which in once will go up to 66%. The craft is an Exalt. I don't have it. It's from Desert Springs. So you could do that. And the other option is, I wonder if I even have it. I don't have it, but there is a Veiled modifier for Chaos damage and Chaos skill effect duration. And that goes up to 50% damage and 12% duration. Which is slightly less damage, but it's very important for something like Blight duration or duration to your Wither that you apply from Blight if you have the Spreading Jot Jewel. But yeah, so that right there is a complete wand. Pretty lucky with the crafts. As you can see, I mean, we can try rolling it again. Doesn't really matter. Let's roll. Let's attempt a few times with the 3 fossil combo. Didn't land the +1. We landed the +1, but we didn't get the chaos.multi. Well, look at that. Chaos.multi and damage over time. Again at the lower roll, but we landed. Let's try another one. And this is also the perfect 2 prefix, 2 suffix. So we don't even need to... annul it. Now we hit the 3 prefixes, so now we would need to annul this. Or do the Beastcraft, which I do not recommend. But I would just annul this. Look at that. We ruined it. A few more. Let's get some scourings there. Didn't land it. And you can use this exact same way. Obviously, you wouldn't use the same fossil combination if you were trying to get like the cold one. We can actually just try. We can just try rolling a few cold dot multis as well, because you're gonna use this exact same stuff with the frigid fossil. I haven't looked at the values for that. We rolled a physical. This is a bit sad. Got the chaos. Didn't get the +1. Didn't get the +1. Didn't get the +1. This game doesn't want to keep me the +1 cold, it looks like. We have some more. So what we landed like 2 perfect ones already for the chaos. And as you can see, B might have gotten quite a bit luckier than expected. Oh, look at that. We got a fish. And there we go. Another one. As you can see, getting the chaos.1 is pretty nice. I'm a bit sad I don't remember seeing the... Oh, of course I can't see the tier 2 because this is level 4 and not level 12. But yeah, I think that pretty much is it. I'd call it a success on the getting the crafts. And yeah, hope you enjoyed and learned something, and good luck with your attempts at getting your nice crafts. I'll see you guys later.